What's good, guys? I'm back. It's Diesel Mac. Welcome to another video. Today's topic is a little bit different than what I normally talk about. I normally speak on like fitness and motivation and getting in shape and whatnot, self-improvement. And this is kind of somewhere along the lines of self-improvement, but it's a little offshoot. Um, I wanted to talk about why every man should live on their own for at least 6 months to a year. You know, um, yeah, I've lived on my own. I moved out of my parents' house when I was 18 years old, and I've been on my own in some form or fashion, whether, renting a room out of a place or um, living in a basement apartment or living in this condo here, right? And I realized that a lot of guys have never experienced living by themselves. They've either lived at home or they lived in a college dorm or they live with roommates or live with a woman or whatever the hell, live with family. But a lot of men never have had the opportunity to live by themselves and experience and live life like independently, like having to do everything. And I can tell you right now, I think a lot of men end up missing out on a lot of valuable life skills when you live by yourself. You know, um, Coming home to your own place, your own space that you set up, that you're responsible for keeping clean, you're responsible for doing the dishes, doing the laundry, making sure that the place is stocked with food, making sure that you pay all the bills on time. Man, those develop life skills that I think a lot of men they might develop some over time, but maybe don't develop all of them, right? Um, I would highly recommend it. Reason number one is it allows you to get comfortable with being alone, right? I don't think a lot of men out there, as rough and tough as they like to act, are comfortable being in their own company, their own space, their own silence, occupying their own time, right? Learn how to be alone. When you come home from a long day of work or whatever the hell, learn how to be with your own thoughts. Learn how to entertain yourself. Learn how to be productive on your own. A lot of men miss out on that, right? Like they don't ever develop that. Or let's say they live with a woman and she goes on a trip for the weekend or whatever. They get the house to themselves and they're like, man, this is actually great. Like, why did I never live like this before? A lot of men never get to experience that solitude, right? um, I love it. And listen, I know living alone isn't necessary for everybody. I know a lot of people out there like having company. They like having somebody to come home to, whether it be, a girlfriend or a wife or roommates or whatever. But being able to be in your own space, your own, solitude is a skill. I've learned that a lot of men don't have, but it's a valuable skill to to develop. Because I'll tell you right now, when you learn to be at peace with your own company, it takes someone really, really special to come along to make you want to ruin that. Not ruin, but to change that, right? If you have your place set up the way you like, you have everything that you need here, you're 100% self-sufficient, and you're comfortable where you are, that girl she better be great to make you want to give that up, because there's no freedom like having a place that you have set up completely the way you want to. Everything's the way you left it when you return back home from wherever it is you're coming from. Man, I'm telling you right now, it almost like raises your standards when it comes to dating, because you're good, right? Like you're good. Your space is your space, and in order for someone to come in and invade that, so to speak, they better be on point, right? It also forces you to learn different life skills. I've had to learn how to cook for myself, right? You can't eat out every single day, especially if you're on, a fitness journey, you're trying to get in shape, stay in shape. There ain't no way in hell you can eat out every day. Not to mention how expensive it is, right? Unless you want to pay a maid or a cleaning service, you're going to have to learn how to keep your place clean, right? You want to make sure that your place is presentable at all times. You're going to develop good habits like making your bed every day, knowing how to do laundry, fold clothes, knowing how to get your dishes in order. You know what I mean? You're going to just develop like basic life skills that I think a lot of men don't develop, right? We talk about these gender roles like, oh, the woman's supposed to cook and clean. Bullshit, man. Like, that's a life skill. That's a life skill that a lot of men just don't have. And listen, I don't claim to be the best cook, right? Like, I like to say I don't really cook that well. I just heat shit up. But you know what? I can take care of myself, right? Like, I can make a meal for myself, and it doesn't take me very long, and I'm not gonna get sick from it after. I can keep my place clean. You know, I know how to work a vacuum cleaner. I know how to work a broom. I know how to load a dishwasher, right? Those are all things that I had to learn by myself, you know. Um, I know how to take care of myself when I'm sick. You know, it's there's been plenty of times I've come down with the flu. You know, hell, I just had pneumonia not too long ago. You know, and learning how to like take care and manage yourself. I got a whole cabinet full of medicines. Right, I surprised myself the other day. I'm organizing my cabinet. And I'm like, man, like over the years, I didn't collected so many medicines just from being, you know, just having little illnesses here and there. You know, you learn how to take care of yourself. Right, you learn how to take care of your space. It's a very very valuable skill, and I think a lot of men, you know, they you know they turn 18, they move out, go to college, whatever, and all that stuff is good. But then, you know, the first thing they want to do is move in and live with a woman. And you know, I lived with a woman for 5.5 years, right? Like I live with one, and I don't regret that at all. I don't regret that, but I can tell you right now, I was on my own before that, and I'm on my own now. And I can tell you right now, you know, that living by myself for a little bit, that is invaluable. You know, having your own space that you can call your own, I'm telling you right now, you know, you just have a certain level of confidence because I'm like, look, I got my own spot, you know. If you're out there in the dating market right now, you guys who are out there dating, man, I'm telling you know, a lot of these dudes that women mess with don't have their own space. So they live with a roommate, they live with their parents, you know. So if you want to bring your girl back home to do whatever, having your own place, man, I'm telling you right now, that's gonna score you brownie points with any woman versus taking her back to a spot that you share with other people. When you got your own space, man, I'm telling you right now, it's clean, it's comfortable. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money, man. It doesn't take much. I would keep it simple more than anything. Keep it simple. Just have, you know, nice bed sheets that you clean on a regular basis. Have towels. You know, sweep your floor, vacuum your carpet from time to time. Make sure it smells good. You can get those little plug-in scent things just to make your home smell warm and cozy. It don't take much, man. That shit ain't girly. It's just about making your space your space. Be clean. It teaches you how to be clean. You know, you want to do all that. I'm telling you right now. You want to do all that. You know, there's dudes out here that's moving in with women, right? They don't have their own space, so they're moving in with women. I'm like, that's definitely not the right way to be. When you have your own spot, you got leverage. You know, you got leverage, right? It's your place. You know, you can't get kicked out of here. You can't have a relationship can't go bad and you get kicked out. You know, your parents can't kick you out of that place. It's your spot. You know, and I would encourage you guys, if you know, to try to do this early on in your life, specifically before you get into a serious relationship, because it's going to help you develop skills that you will carry on for the rest of your life. I wouldn't skip this. Look, and I know in 2026, you know, the economy is jacked up, everything's super expensive. I get it, man. But if there's a will, there's a way. Listen, man, if I can help it, man, I don't ever want to live with roommates again. I don't ever want to move back home. Like I will work 2-3 jobs just to keep an apartment. I don't even care if it's an apartment. It's my space. It's my space. You know, and listen, it doesn't have to be the nicest place in the world. I mean, listen, you got to start somewhere, right? If you're not working with a bunch of money, do what you got to do. There's a lot of places out there that have like, you know, income requirements where if you make under a certain amount of money, then you qualify for that place, right? Work extra jobs, drive Uber, do Uber Eats or whatever. Do what you got to do. You know, at some point in your life, if the time currently isn't right now, fine, right? If you're still in school, you know, or if you're living at home to stack your bread, cool. But at some point, you want to make it a goal where you live autonomously on your own for a little bit, because a lot of men don't get to experience that. And I'm telling you right now, a lot of times men they experience that for the first time when they go through a breakup with a girl, and you know, they're forced to move out and get their own place, and they don't know the first thing about taking care of their place. You know, and it's always disheveled. It looks like shit. You know, they don't have the basic stuff that they need. You know, they don't have basic utensils, right? They don't have plates to eat on. You know, they eat on paper plates and, you know, plastic cups and everything. You know, guys make fun of it. You see that meme all the time about, you know, you see like a studio apartment with just like the TV and a couch and a bed, and it's like that's all it takes for men to be happy. And look, it's truth to that, right? Like we tend to be a little bit simpler creatures, but man, as you get older, you become a grown ass man. Like build your space up. It doesn't have to be anything super bougie, but just know how to like have a space that you can come home to that has what you need. Has food in the refrigerator. You got medicine in the cabinet for when you get sick. You got clean towels. You got, laundry detergent in the house. You got toilet paper in the house. You got, paper towel, just basic shit. You know what I mean? I'm telling you right now, like when you develop them life skills, that like people can't really come at you because you out here doing it. You're out here living on your own, managing your own space on top of everything else that us men got to go through out there, out in the world. You got your own space. I'm telling you right now, it's rare. It's very, very rare. A lot of dudes ain't living like that. A lot of dudes don't. They've never lived on their own. And the first time they have to do that is when, is when they go through a breakup or something like that. That's why when you always see married dudes, man, when like their wife and kids go out of town for a couple of days and they got the house to themselves, that's when they're the happiest because they actually got a place where they got peace and quiet. As men, we like peace and quiet. I mean, hell, I won't speak for everybody, but I know at least for me, man, after dealing with the public all day, I like being in a place where I don't hear shit. I don't got to talk to nobody. I can just kick back. I can do whatever the hell I want to do. You know what I mean? Look, it's addictive. And look, I'm naturally an introvert, so living alone is definitely great for me. But, one of the best things about having guests over, having family over is watching them leave. Because then I get to go back to just doing my own shit, right? I don't have to entertain anybody. I like my own space. I like people, but also like my own space. You know what I mean? So try it out, guys. I would challenge you, if you're living with your folks right now, or you're living with some roommates, try to come up with a plan to try to get your own apartment, man. Even if you got to move to like a area that maybe you don't necessarily want to be in, but if it's a little bit more cost effective for you, that's what you got to do, right? Challenge yourself, man. I'm telling you, because you don't want to get into your 40s and 50s and lose that ability and have never experienced what it's like to be on your own. Even if you do it for 6 months or a year and you don't like it, cool. At least you did it. At least you know that about yourself. Hey, I don't like living on my own. Hey, I would prefer to have roommates or whatever, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with you if you don't like that, but. I would encourage every man, if I'm talking to you right now and you're between the ages of 18 to 30 and you've never lived on your own and you're single right now, you're not in a serious long-term relationship, I challenge you to at least put a plan together to do that, right? Experience what that's like. And again, it doesn't have to be much. Hell, it can be a basement apartment, but just your own space where you're responsible for the bills and you're responsible for cleaning everything and making sure that place is functioning, right? So that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for checking me out. Like the video, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.